So I know that Bright can't come today, but we'll see if maybe Ryan will be able to pop in. Stella, how is your hamster?
She is good.
Yeah, that's good. Is she still cute and small?
Yes.
Awesome. Hi, Ryan. Thanks for joining us.
Hello,
Hi, how are you today?
I'm good.
Good. Awesome. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. We're going to be finishing our story that we've been going over for the past few weeks. So before we do that, let's refresh our minds. Let's remember what the story is about. So Ryan, can you tell me, what have we been reading about in this story? What have we been reading about?
We reading about Belinda has a flat.
Very good, Belinda, and she has a flat tire. So we know she noticed her tire was flat. She had to check the air pressure. She squeezed the tire. And last we read, she connected the hose of the air pump to the valve stem so that she could start filling up the tire. So today we're going to discuss more. We're going to finish the story and see what happens with Belinda and her flat tire. So before we do that, we're going to do the homework. So your job was to think about how Belinda's tire became flat in the first place. What happened to her tire? So you're supposed to come up with a little story or an idea about why her tire was flat. So why don't we start with Barry? Can you please share with us, Barry? How do you think Belinda's tire became flat?
Uh, uh, on the way to Belinda's school, it had many little rocks, and she go to school by bike every day. But one day, a rock into her tire, and the tire be flat.
Okay, so we're thinking maybe it was a rock. So maybe she rode over a rock and maybe it got in her tire and it became flat. Okay, great guess. Awesome. Ryan, what do you think? How did Belinda's tire become flat? What do you think?
Go to she go to school, and maybe she ride bike, and she steps the stone to in the tire.
Okay, did you say a stone?
Yes.
Okay, so a stone or a rock, like Barry said. So Ryan thinks it might have been a stone. Great guess, Ryan. Stella, can you please share how do you think Belinda's tire became flat?
I think Belinda's tire became flat because last time she rode a bike, her tire ran over a small rock, and the small stone punctured the tire, but she didn't notice.
Okay, great guess. So Stella thinks it might have been a rock as well, and she used the word punctured. Great job, Stella. So we're going to be learning about that word today, punctured. So it might have been a rock. So what else? Alice, how do you think Belinda's tire became flat?
Maybe Belinda is forgets to close the
stamps on the tail, so she need to close that. Ooh, I like that. That's a good idea as well. So maybe the last time she was pumping up her tire, maybe she forgot to close the valve stem. So air might be leaking out of the tire and it could be flat. That's a great idea too. All of you have very good ideas about what might have happened to make her tire flat. So today the mystery will be solved. So we'll find out how her tire became flat. So to get into that, let's start with our vocabulary words. So I'll share my screen. So our first word is handle.
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 Handle. Very good. And can you all see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so a handle, it's the part of something that you use to hold or open it. So in these pictures, we see different examples of handles. So before we talk about the pictures, let's read our example sentences. Our first one, the door handle needs to be cleaned.
The
The
door
door
handle needs to
handle
be
needs
needs
clean.
to be
to
cleaned.
be clean.
I grabbed the handle of my suitcase and put it in the car.
I grabbed the
I
handle of
Grab
my
the
suitcase
handle
handle
and
of
put
my
it in the car.
and put it in the car.
in the car.
Very good. So now again, we see examples here of different handles. So here is a handle right here. Ryan, what kind of handle is this? Would you say this is a car handle or a door handle?
Is a door handle.
Very good. So here we have a door handle. Now, here we see a picture of a suitcase. Now, Alice, what color is the handle of this suitcase? Blue. So if we see this picture right here in the middle, we want to find the handle. So here's the handle of the suitcase. What color is the handle? It's black. Very good. It's black. So this part up here is the handle. Now we see the handle of a car door and we see it's blue. Now if we look at this bicycle, Barry, what color are the handles of this bicycle?
Blue.
Blue, very good. So on a bicycle, where we put our hands are the handles. So this bicycle has blue handles. So that's an easy way to remember if we have trouble with the word handle. We see the first part of handle is hand. So we grab a handle or hold a handle with our hands. So that can help us remember what handle means. Next, to hiss.
To
To
hiss.
To
hiss.
hiss.
Now, to hiss is to make a noise. So it sounds like this. So when we think of that sound, we might think of the sound a snake makes. So the sound a snake makes is called a hiss. So the action would be to hiss. A snake hisses. If we look at this picture here, we see these pipes. These are pipes over here. And these pipes might hold gas. And if it leaks out, it can make a hissing sound. A hissing sound. So let's read our example sentences. The snake hisses at me as I walk by its cage.
The snake
The snake
hisses at
hit
me as
The
I
snake
walk by
us
its
walks
cage.
by
at
its
me
cage.
as I walk by its cage.
The gas made a hissing sound as it leaked from the pipes.
The gas
The gas
made a
made
Gas
a
made
hissing
a
hissing
sound
sound
as
hissing
it
as
as
leaked
it
it
from
leaked
from
the
from
the
pipe.
the
pipe.
Very good. So again, to hiss, it's making that noise. So that could be from an animal like a snake, or something else could be making that sound too. Our next word, to examine.
To
to
examine.
examine.
To examine is to look at something very closely or to study it very closely. So this could be looking at a thing or a person very closely. So let's look at our examples. The doctor examines his arm to see if it is broken.
The
The
doctor
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 examines
examines his
his
examines
arm
arm
to
to see
see
if it
if
is
it is
broken.
if it's broken.
I examined the shoes carefully to make sure I wanted them.
I
I
examine the shoes
the shoes
carefully
carefully
to make
to
sure I
make sure
want them.
I want
I
them.
wanted that.
Very good. So if we look at this picture, Stella, what do you think is happening in this picture?
The man's arm is hurt.
Very good. So we see his arm is hurt, and we see another man right here. So this is a doctor. So when you hurt yourself or if you are sick, the doctor examines you. So in this picture, the doctor examines the man's arm. So he's going to look at it very closely to see what is wrong with his arm. So that's what the doctor is doing. He's going to look at it up close. He's going to really see what's going on with his arm. Now, Barry, what do you see in this picture?
A woman is look at a shoes.
Very good. So we see she's looking at shoes. So these shoes might be very expensive or they may cost a lot of money. So a lot of times when we buy clothes or shoes, we examine them to make sure we really want them because they cost a lot of money. So she is examining these shoes. Do I really want these? Do I really need them? She's looking at them closely. So our next word goes along with examine. So this word is closely.
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 Very good. So if we look at closely, the first part of the word closely is close. So if something is close, we know it's near to you, near in distance. So that's how we use the word closely. So if we look at our examples, these are the same sentences from this slide, but now we are going to add the word closely. The doctor closely examines his arm to see if it is broken.
The doctor
The doctor
closely
closely examines
examines his arm to
arm
see if
to
it
see if
is
it is
broken.
broken.
I examined the shoes closely to make sure I wanted them.
I
I
examined
examine
the
the
shoes
shoes
closely
closely
to
to
make
make
sure I
sure
want
I
them.
want that.
with them.
Very good. So now we've added this word into our sentence. So the person who is reading will be able to know you mean very close. So the doctor will go near the man's arm and look at it very closely to see if it is broken. Or the shoes, you're going to look at them closely. They will be near to you so that you can see if you want them. Next, to reveal.
To
To
reveal.
reveal.
So to reveal is to make something known to others. So it's to tell someone something that you at first didn't tell anybody. So let's look at our examples. Jocelyn finally revealed why she didn't come to my party last week.
Leslie
Josie
family
family
reveal why
Tell
why
she
she
the
didn't
why
come
didn't
to my
come
didn't
to
party
come
last
to
party
week.
my
week.
party last week.
I usually don't reveal my grades to anybody except my parents.
I usually don't
I
reveal
I
usually
my
don't
grades to
don't
reveal
reveal
anybody
my
my
grades
grades
except
to
to
my parents.
anybody
anybody
except
except
my
my parents.
parents.
Very good. So we see in this first example, Jocelyn finally revealed why she didn't come to my party. So that means Jocelyn finally told you why she didn't come to the party. You didn't know before, but now she's going to tell you. She's going to reveal it to you. Or our second example, I usually don't reveal my grades to anybody except my parents. So that means you usually don't tell what your grade was to anybody. You don't reveal that to others. So again, to reveal something, to tell them, to make something known. Our next word, nail.
Nail.
Now,
So we don't need to explain this one too much. We see here a picture of a nail, and we know nails are used in construction, so to build things. So let's look at our examples. I always wear my shoes when I go walking because I don't want to step on a nail.
I always wear
I
I
my
always
shoes
always
when
wear
I
my
wear my
shoes
go
shoes
when I
when
walking
I
go
go
because I don't
walking
want
walking
to
because
because
I
step
I
don't
don't
on
want
the
to
want
step
nail.
to
on
step
the
on
nail.
the nail.
She needs to buy, and this is incorrect, there should not be an S there. She needs to buy more nails to finish her building project.
She needs to
Need
buy
to buy
Needs
more
to
more
nails
want
nails
to
to
finish
to
finish
her
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 building
building
project.
project.
Very good. So again, our nail, we don't want to step on a nail because it is very sharp. So we could get very hurt if we step on a nail. Or nails could damage things like bicycle tires. So we'll see more of that in our story. And nails are mostly used in, again, building projects to put things together or to hold things together. To puncture.
To puncture.
Puncture.
So to puncture something is to make a hole in something or to pierce or cut through something with a sharp object. So let's look at our example. I'm not sure what punctured my tire, but now I need to buy a new one.
I'm not sure what
I'm not
punctured my
sure
tire,
what
but
punctured
now
my
I
tire,
need
but
to
I
buy
know
a
I
new
need
one.
to buy a new one.
Very good. So we see this picture of a tire that has been punctured. We see a hole in the tire. So something sharp went into this tire and punctured it. and made a hole. So, Stella, what could have punctured this tire? What is something that could have punctured this tire? So what do you think, Stella? What could have punctured this tire?
Maybe nail.
Very good. So a nail could definitely puncture a tire. So we see it is sharp. It's pointed at the end. It could puncture a tire. Ryan, what else could puncture a tire?
Let,
Can you say that again, Ryan? I couldn't hear you.
let me think.
Okay, go ahead and think about it.
Rock.
Very good. So you guys already answered this question earlier for your homework. So a rock, very good, a rock could have punctured this tire. A rock could have punctured this tire. Very good. So there's many things that could puncture something. So a rock, a nail, maybe broken glass. So glass is sharp and could puncture a tire too. So very good, great answer. To patch.
To
To
patch.
patch.
To patch something is to cover up a hole or to fix a hole that's in something. So let's look at our examples. I was able to patch my tire instead of buying a new one.
I was able to patch
I
my
was
tire
I was
able
instead
able
of
to patch
to
my
buying
fix
tire
a new
my
one.
hair
instead buy a
instead
new
of
one.
buy a new one.
My mom patched my ripped jeans for me.
My mom patched
My
my
mom fixed
red
my
Mom
jeans
jeans for
her
me.
jeans for me.
Very good. So here we have our tire, and somehow this tire was punctured, but now someone has patched this tire. They have covered the hole in the tire. Or maybe you got a rip or a hole in your jeans, your pants, or your shirt. So your mom might patch your clothes. So she'll fix the hole in your shirt or in your jeans, or she'll cover it up with another piece of material. So she would patch your clothes. Okay, our last word, content.
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 And
To be content is to be happy or satisfied, as we see in our pictures here. So let's read our examples. I am content to stay at home and read my book.
I am
I am
content to
content
stay
to
at
I'm
stay
home and read
content
my
to
and
book.
read
stay
the
at
book.
home and read my book.
She was content with the lunch her dad packed her for lunch.
She was content with
Was
the lunch
content with
her
the
dad
lunch
baked
that
her
gave
for
her
lunch.
Very good. So again, when we're content, we're happy. We don't want anything else. We don't need anything else. We're just happy with what we have. Satisfied is another word that goes with content. So, like we see in these pictures here, a smiling face. So again, yeah, content, just being happy. Okay, so now is the time for you to write your own sentences. So now you could take the time to do that using at least one of the words that we learned today. And so go ahead and do that now and take your time to type them out in the chat. And if you have any questions, as always, please feel free to unmute and ask me. So I'll give you guys time to do that now. So we have one sentence, thank you. And two more, thank you guys. And I think that's our last one. Okay, thank you guys. So I'm going to stop sharing now and let's see what you guys came up with. So Stella, can we please start with you? Can you share your sentence, please?
I examined the bag closely to make sure it's the bag I lost last week.
Very good, Stella. So Stella used examined. So very good. If you lost something and you find it, you want to examine it to make sure it's the right item, right? So if we lose our bag, we would examine it. We'd look at it closely to make sure it was ours. So very good, Stella. Alice, can you please share your sentence? Can you unmute Alice and share your sentence? Okay, so maybe Alice might have some trouble. So we'll skip Alice and we'll come back to you, Alice. So Barry, can you please share your sentence?
He always examines his bag closely, so he don't need to worry the air he's from the puncture when he is riding a bag. All puncture is patched before he rides.
Very good, Barry. So you used a lot of our vocab words and you used them all in their correct meaning. So great job. The one thing I would tell you is you don't want to have what's called run-on sentences. So that means when the sentence is really, really long and there's no periods. So next time, just examine your sentence and make sure that you have periods so that you might have more than one sentence, maybe 2 or 3 out of just that one really long sentence. Does that make sense, Barry?
Okay.
Okay, awesome. Sounds good. Okay, great job. And Ryan, can you please share your sentence?
My dad is regular closely examining our car. If it is punctured, he is patch our car.
Thank you, Ryan. So you used examine, closely, puncture, and patch. Very good. So my tip for you will be the same as for Barry. So your sentence could actually be 2 sentences. So I'm going to type in the chat. And so Ryan, when you say if it has a puncture, do we mean the entire car has a puncture or do we mean the tire?
A tire.
The tire. Very good. So I'm typing in the chat right now. Okay, can you read what I put in the chat, Ryan?
My dad regularly closely examines our car. If it has a puncture, he patches the tire.
Very good. Or you could say if the tire has a puncture, he patches it. So yeah, so you could take a really long sentence and a lot of times you can make it 2 or 3 sentences. But very good job, Ryan.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Alice. Alice, can you read your sentence, please?
The grass is too pinch my head, so I need to pitch it.
Very good, Alice. So you have puncture and patch. Now let's talk about that word puncture again. So Alice, what does it mean to puncture something? What is a puncture? Do you remember?
It's
Broke something.
Yes. I'm sorry, go ahead and say it again. What is
Maybe it broke the chair.
okay? So a puncture is to make a hole in something, a hole. So someone punctured or something punctured this tire. A hole was made in the tire. So Alice, in your sentence, you say that grass punctured your tire. So Alice, can grass make a hole in a tire? What do you think?
No, it can't.
No, it can't. So what else could you say in your sentence instead of grass? What could puncture your tire?
The nail.
A nail. Very good. So a nail could puncture the tire. I'm going to share my screen to show you this picture too. So a nail could puncture your tire. A few of you mentioned a rock or a stone or glass. So if we don't know what glass is, here's some pictures of broken glass. So glass could puncture your tire too. So very good, Alice. So we want to make sure we know what that means, and now we do. So very good job. Okay, great work, everybody. So now we're going to finish reading our story. So if everyone can pull up their story that we started a few weeks ago, Belinda has a flat. And I'm going to call on somebody to read the first two paragraphs. So, Ryan, can you please read the first two paragraphs of the story?
Yes. Belinda's back tire seemed a little flat as she rode to school this morning, so she is checking the air pressure in it as she screens it with her hands. It feels noticeably soft. If she were to ride on it any further, it may damage the tire or tube. To fill the tire up, she used a small air pump. First, she attaches the air hose to the valve stump located between the spokes and locks it in place.
Very good, Ryan. Thank you for reading for us. So now let's finish. Let's read this last paragraph. So I'll read it first and then I'll read it again and you'll repeat after me. Next, she begins to fill the tube with air by pumping up and down on the handle. It takes only a few minutes before the tire is hard again. But there is a problem. Belinda hears a hissing sound coming from somewhere on the tire. Examining the tire more closely reveals a small nail that has punctured it. Before she can ride again, she will need to buy a new tube or patch the old one. For now, she will have to be content with walking. Okay, so now let's read that last paragraph again, and then you'll repeat after me after each sentence. Next, she begins to fill the tube with air by pumping up and down on the handle.
Next, she begins to fill the tube with air
To
by
fill the
pumping up
tube
and
with
down on the
air,
tank.
pumping up and down on the handle.
It takes only a few minutes before the tire is hard again, but there is a problem.
It takes only a few minutes
Only
before the
a
tire
few
is
minutes
hard
before
again,
the tire
but
is
there's
hard
a problem.
again, but there is a problem.
Belinda hears a hissing sound coming from somewhere on the tire.
Linda hears a
Linda
hissing
hears
sound
a
coming
hissing
from
sound
somewhere
coming
on the tire.
somewhere on the tire.
Examining the tire more closely reveals a small nail that has punctured it.
Examining the tire more
The
closely
tire more
reveals
closely
a
reveals a
small nail
small
that
nail
has
that
punctured
has
it.
punctured it.
Before she can write again, she will need to buy a new tube or patch the old one.
Before she can write again, she will
Before
need to
she can
buy
write
a
again,
new
she will
tube or
buy
patch
a
the new
or patch
one.
the old one.
For now, she will have to be content with walking.
For now,
For
she will
now,
have
she
to
will
be
have
content with
content
walking.
with walking.
Very good. So, we know Belinda, she attached the air pump, the hose to the valve stem. She started pumping air into the tire. But what happened? What did she hear coming from the tire? Alice, what did Belinda hear coming from the tire? What did she hear?
The air began to flow to air.
So, Alice, Belinda heard a sound coming from the tire after she pumped it with air. So, after she pumped up and down the handle, she heard a sound. What sound did she hear?
She heard the two hiss.
Very good. So she heard a hissing sound. She heard a hissing sound coming from the tire. So what did that mean? Stella, was it a good thing that she heard a hissing sound from the tire?
No,
No, so what did that mean? That she heard a hissing sound. What did that mean?
it means its tire is broken.
Very good. So she heard that sound. She knew something was wrong with that tire. It wasn't supposed to make that noise. So what did she do, Barry? When she heard that noise coming from the tire, what did Belinda do?
She examined the tire closely.
Very good. So she examined it, and Ryan, what did she find when she examined the tire?
She find a small nail that that has punctured.
Very good. So it wasn't a rock that punctured her tire, and she hadn't left the valve stem open. It was a nail. So a nail had punctured her tire. So if she wants to ride her bike again, what does Belinda have to do? Barry, what does Belinda have to do if she wants to ride her bike again?
She needs to replace the tire or patch the old one.
Very good. And until she does that, she will have to walk to school or wherever else she has to go with her bike. So very good, everybody. Let's go over our worksheet now so that we can get some more practice and make sure we understand everything. So I'm going to screen share. And actually for this one, because the paper's so big, if you could view it on your device. So I put this worksheet in the chat earlier. So go ahead and pull that up on your worksheet or on your device. Worksheet number 3. And once you get there, Stella, can you tell us number 1, what matches with number 1?
To his.
Very good, to hiss. And number 2, Ryan.
To examine.
Very good, to examine. So we see the doctor, he is examining the man's arm. Very good. And number 3, Alice.
Handle.
Very good, handle. And number 4, Barry. Number 4.
To reveal.
Very good, to reveal. And number 5, Ryan.
Nail.
Nail, awesome. Number 6, Stella.
To puncture.
Very good. And number 7, Alice. Number 7.
To pitch.
To patch. Very good. And our last one, number 8, Stella.
Contact.
Very good. Content. Very good, you guys. I know that was a lot more words than usual for the matching. So now for our second page, we have our sentences that we have to put in order. So I'm screen sharing this now. So we have 7 sentences. So the first one is done and the last one is done. So Stella, can you read number 1 for us, the first sentence?
Belinda's back tire seemed flat as she rode to school.
Very good. So that's what happened first in the story. So now as we look at these sentences, what would be number 2? What happened second? So Barry, what would go next?
First, she checked the air pressure in it by scraping it with her hands. It feels noticeably soft.
Very good. So that would be number 2. Now, what would be number 3, Ryan?
Second, she attended the hose of the air pump to the valve stem and looked it in place.
Very good. So that would be number 3. Now, number 4, Alice. What would be number 4? So what happened after she attached the hose to the valve stem? What did she do after that? Do you need help, Alice? Okay, I think Alice is frozen. So we'll see. Hopefully she'll be able to come back. But Barry, number 4, what would be next after she attached the hose to the valve stem?
Next, she begins to fill the tube with air by pumping up and down on the handle.
Very good. So that would be number 4. Now, what happened after that? Stella, what happened after that?
Belinda hears a hissing sound coming from the tyre.
Very good. So that would be number 5. Now, Alice, what would be number 6? We can't hear you, Alice.
He sends the tail of a well as portrays it.
Very good. So that would be number 6. And then number 7, we have it down here for us. Ryan, can you please read number 7?
Belinda has to buy a new or patch the old one before she can ride her bike again.
Very good. Awesome, you guys. So that was a lot of sentences to put in order, but you guys did great. So for your homework, we know that Belinda has to decide what to do with her bike tire. So Stella, can you please read the directions for practice 3?
Do you think Belinda should buy a new tub patch or the old one, or do something else? Please answer in complete sentence.
Very good. So now you have to answer that question. What do you think Belinda should do with her tire? Should she buy a new tube or a new tire? Should she try to patch it? Or is there something else you think she should do? Should she be content with just walking and not riding her bike? So that's your job for homework, to answer this question. And as usual, please answer in complete sentences. So we finished a little early today. Do you guys have any questions about the homework or about the lesson for today? Okay, I guess that's a no. So before we head off, since we have a couple minutes left, I know Luke usually likes you guys to ask me questions if we have time left. So are there any questions you would like to ask me that I can answer for you? Maybe about my family or about where I live or what I like to do? I'll let you guys think about it. So Barry, I'll start with you.
Mm, do we have a new story in next week?
Yes. We will be done with we are done with Belinda today. So yes, we will have a new story next week. What do you guys think of the stories? What do you think of the stories, Barry, that we've read so far?
I don't know. Let me think.
Okay.
Uh, mm, 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 maybe it's about shopping.
A story about shopping?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we did have one about shopping. We'll see if there's any more about shopping. That would be an interesting story. Okay. What about you, Stella? Do you have any questions?
I think no.
Okay. Well, we're about done now. So I see Luke is typing in the chat. I know he was busy today, which is why he couldn't uh, be on with his camera. So thank you, Luke. So go ahead and do that for homework, answer that question, and we will start a new story next week. So thank you, everybody. I hope you all have a great weekend, okay? Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.